Yo, what is up today, everybody? Happy Friday to you. And this is, well, it's Simplify Your Afternoon. And this is how it's going to go today. We're going to look at the FanDuel slate today. There's an awesome 10-game slate here. And we're basically going to narrow everything down as far as kind of how to attack, how I like to attack a 10-game slate. It's going to be real short, real quick, but I want to point out a couple things here. This is the big thing, okay? When we pick the main slate, you can see that, first off, I've got to record this game because it's going to be absolutely amazing and I really want to watch it. But something that, you know, when I was not as experienced, when I was learning before I had made my first live final, when I was learning NBA, a lot of people were like, okay, high Vegas totals, close spreads, it means the world, it means everything, right? Okay, that's a pretty simple and basic concept when it comes to finding out games to attack, games to target. Another thing that you've kind of noticed, and we've kind of been screaming it, Bear and I, for years, is attacking the late slate, the later games, typically used to just focusing on like those 3, 4, 5 games, and eliminating games kind of raises your ceiling a little bit. Why? Because you're not choosing as many, you're not worrying about as many players, so your likelihood of screwing up is less and less. Okay, so one thing I want to note, or I want to kind of talk to everybody about here today, is how do I know when I need to eliminate a game from my player pool? Okay? And the one thing that I always want to talk about is I don't predict blowouts at all. If I feel like Pascal Siakam against Charlotte is the best play, and he's a really, really good play, then I'm going to play him. However, when you're talking about creating tournament lineups, you can afford to be a little bit more picky. So if we just go by a basic rule of, let's see here, let's go 230 and above. Okay. We're going to take out this game. Oops. We're going to take out that game. We're going to take out that game. We're going to take out that game and that game. Okay, so we've eliminated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games on the slate. Now, I'm not saying that this is what you should do. I'm using this as an example on a nice large slate. The best part about this is that you can now go and you've got 5 games. You've basically, quote unquote, made this a 5-game slate for yourself on a 10-game slate. So you've eliminated half the field. Here's a great part, is you can do this that way, or if there are teams that you don't want, you can go right here, and this is all in FC. So say I don't want Dallas outside of, and as you look here, you can see that there's not a lot of higher end value. I can eliminate them, okay? Even Luka Doncic on today's slate, you don't have to play him, but I'm using this as an example, okay? We see that they play Miami, okay? I can go and I can select Miami, and boom, I can eliminate them, okay? Let me get here. Let's go to Phoenix and Detroit. So here's the thing, is now what doing it this way, what it's allowed me to do is I can say, okay, I want to look here, and I don't want, he's DeAndre Ayton's 9K. Don't want him. And I can go through and I can pick who I do want. Okay. So for this game, I would do something like that. Okay. And then I would go to Detroit. Come on. And I would look and I'm like, okay, these are the guys that are projected to go up. I've got a nice value. John Henson, we'll talk, I'm sure Bear and Luce will hit on them later, but he's 4,200. He's at center. Meh. Okay, so I can eliminate them. Okay. Let's go to Toronto and Charlotte. Charlotte has got guys here. Okay, Devontae Graham, he can do well. Terry Rozier, he can do well. But for the sake of, everybody, I'm just going to eliminate them. Okay, and so I'm going to go through and I'm going to choose my player pools based on who I like off of teams throughout games. So I'm basing it off of value. Okay. Siakam at 8,100. I can leave him in because we know that Siakam can go for 55, 60. Okay. So if I were to just put in here, 42, 38, if I just put in, say, 52, 38, all of a sudden now I'm at 6.5x, and he's a guy that I would want in my player pool. Okay. So that's how you can kind of play with stuff like that to decide on things. OG, we know that he's under 5K. He has a nice, he's got a way to get up there. I can leave him in, and then I can go make a rule saying that I don't want OG and Siakam in the same lineup at the same time. Okay. Now, obviously, at the time of this video, Danilo Gallinari was in. He is now ruled out. So that's going to change some stuff in OKC, but let's just go to OKC. Now, here's the big thing is I do a lot of 2020 stuff and I start with that, but you can see that Nerlens Noel, this is before the Gallinari news, was in my player pool at 17 minutes. That's because I know that he can rack up blocks on FanDuel. Matchup might not be great, but he can rack up blocks on FanDuel. And so at under 4K, he might not be used, but at least he's in there. Just to give you an example. So what were some of the other games that we had? And you'll see that these are still like these games are still highlighted because it allows you to get those players. So if you just make a list on an extra sheet of paper saying, what games you want to take out and what games you don't. Let's go do the Denver Nuggets and LA Clippers. Okay. And you can do both of these at the same time. Michael Porter's another one of those guys. If he gets extra burn tonight, then he's a guy that can go for 35. At 3,600, if you look at his minutes, he went from 8-10 after the All-Star break coming off that injury all the way up to 22. I'm good with playing Michael Porter Jr. tonight, especially in tournaments on FanDuel. So I can go through here. I'm sorting by value. Okay. Paul George, you can see it just isn't getting the minutes. He's up to 28, but I think he's kind of capped at that for now. Let's just go ahead and do this right here. Boom. Okay. So now I've got a guy in there. And basically what I've done is I've taken half the slate and I've gotten rid of them all. Okay. And then you can go position by position. You can narrow it down, everything like that. Okay. So now we've got, Ish Smith. Boom. I can take him out because he's battling with Shabazz Napier. They're going into Utah. I'll have to look better, but I don't like his projection right now. Okay. I can go down here. Okay. Josh Hart, Bradley Beal. Beal is kind of hard for me to play. I get it, but it's really kind of hard. Just kind of going through stuff. You can go through stuff, and as the day adjusts, you go through there and, but so let's just, for the sake of it, let's just take out Bradley Beal. You know, you could take out these guys. I'm gonna have to reset everything after this video. You know, you take out, you know, all guys under 5K or 5X. And so now I've taken my player pool down to 6K and I'm focusing on, you know, games. Okay. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to tighten your player pool, and it's going to put guys in your player pool that you don't normally think of. And it's going to allow us to get off like chalkier builds, especially in MMEs. Okay. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build, say 25. Boom. You know, now if I don't have my ownership projections out yet, but if you can look at these, you know, you've got a 235, a 228, you know, a 216. There's some pretty chalky lineups in here, you know, and you can start adjusting as well. Whereas if you were to do it this way, and now we have everybody in our player pool again. Okay. And you start taking these out. We're going to compare lineups here. So we're going to get rid of that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. Okay. So now you've got those, all of those good to go. If you wanted to put like Denver and the Clippers in there because of like the hammer, then that's fine. But just for, I'm just going to show you. You can also do it this way and just go, okay, I'm just going to focus on these games, these last 3 games, boom, and then optimize from there. There's different ways that you can do it to get off of chalk stuff. And then if we were to just build lineups like that, you see that there's some that are there that are the same, but most of them are not. Make sense? So basically what we're doing is we're just taking our player pool, we're narrowing it down, we're eliminating a lot of the field, and this is for tournaments only. Just getting off of chalkier roster construction builds and focusing on higher total games that are, you know, have really close spreads. The only reason I put the OKC Milwaukee game in there is because of the fact that OKC really does, you know, play a lot of closer games. I don't think they're going to win. I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee covers, but, you know, you've got that. Now, if you wanted to even go by spread and say, okay, I'm taking that out, I'm going to add that in. Anything above, say, like 8 points, so we're going to go 7 and below, you wanted to add in, then you can do that way. You can go there, there. Gosh. You can take out that one, you know. So now we've got 4 games that are within 6 points or 7 points. Oops, that one. You know, you can do it that way as well. And basically what this is doing is giving you combination options. And for tournaments, that's something that you really do want to do. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for it today. If you have any topics or anything that you want me to discuss other than just basic value plays, then, you know, then you're more than welcome to. We'll kind of alternate back and forth and we'll keep things going. So, for Simplified DFS, my name is Boomer's Daddy, and we are out. Peace out.